Um, one of the wisest things I ever read in my life was from Kurt Vonnegut in his foreword to Mother Night. If you've ever read the book, you know how awesome it is. If you don't think it's awesome, then your opinion doesn't matter. And if you haven't read it, I really highly recommend you do. Like Mother Night's about some guy who's pretending to be a Nazi, um, but it's kind of one of those things to where the same can be said for pretending to be a good person. Uh, this is going to be a video response to Varmint Coyote and his video about how he hates himself, aptly entitled "I Hate Myself." I Forgive me for stammering or fumbling for words because I'm really trying to put this delicately. Uh, on the reverse side of imposter, what was it? Imposter syndrome. I'm very much on the opposite side of things. I actually have been diagnosed as clinically depressed. Yay. And I don't know how it is for other people who are clinically depressed. But I can tell you, my experience is that my depression has a lot less to do with my feelings about myself and a lot more to do with my feelings of the surrounding world. I heard on a TV show that depression is just rage turned inward. Uh, there's levels of accuracy to that I think are lacking, but um, there are also levels of accuracy to that are not. They're very pinpoint. At least on my end, uh, when it comes to the notion of punching my own card, that type of thing, has a lot less to do with how I feel about myself and a lot more to do about my feelings towards the world in general. Like, I've said it before on Facebook comments, it's kind of a regular phrase of mine these days anymore, is hairless apes. Whenever I facepalm, whenever I end up shaking my head at some stupid little thing that somebody else has done, uh, that just gives an explanation for me, an excuse, for what I am witnessing. Is that this is just a hairless ape, of which I am myself a hairless ape. It's just that these examples that make me shake my head. Let me put it this way: if you can imagine a hairless ape doing something that makes another hairless ape ashamed of being a hairless ape, that's kind of where I'm coming from on that thing. And the parts of my world that I am happy to be acquainted with are things and people that exhibit behavior which I feel are excellent. Family members, friends, uh, YouTubers, musicians, artists, poets, philosophers. Like, these are examples to me of decent, good human beings. They're examples of human excellence. And when it comes to the clinical depression and notions of punching my own card, one thing that has stayed my hand is realizing what I would be leaving behind. And I don't just mean that as a value statement, as giving something up. I mean knowing what I would be doing, the trail of carnage that I would be leaving behind me after I go. And so, like, I'm pretty vocal about it. I've had to explain to family members and friends, like, look, I am this way. This is how I look at the world. You all know I look at the world this way. If this happens, not your fault. It's not your bad at all. And it started off with wanting to make other people feel bad, but now it's just kind of, it's a lingering thought that stays with me, and now I have to be very clear with people, like, look, if this happens, don't feel bad. I'm the asshole right here. I just couldn't hack it anymore. Couldn't put up with it anymore. Life is shitty, and you are one of the few things that made it bearable. So I want you to know that I thank you for that, I love you for that, but everything else can eat a dick. And so I'm gone. And as far as you feeling that you are not performing at your most sincere level and feeling you're getting the feedback that you're self-aggrandizing, trust me, dude. I've seen self-aggrandizing people. You are not one of them. There are characteristics to somebody like that that you can spot on a mile away. A mile away. And again, like when it comes from somebody who has spent his entire existence keeping notes on the world around him and coming up with criticisms about that, I can tell you, Varmint, you're not one of them. One of the things that keeps me sub to your channel, one of the reasons I sub to your channel to begin with, is because you try. I can't state anything off the top of my head that has struck me as original. A lot of your affirmational type videos, they're thoughts that I've already considered. It's just that my thinking is that these are thoughts, these are affirmations that should occur to a lot more people. And the fact that you have a channel that is dedicated to your own personal ideals as to the way people, yourself mostly, should function, and that other people can watch that. My videos are nowhere near that, like that. Like any other YouTuber is putting their content out on display for other people to evaluate. And stuff like your self-aggrandizing is a criticism that you're going to be faced with. You get what I'm saying? There's trolls and there's dickheads, but for the most part, I would think, I'm not even going to criticize the people who call you self-aggrandizing. It's just going to happen. But the thing is that you try. Even if you are self-aggrandizing, which you're not, I don't think you are, but even if you are, what is your impact? What is your influence on other people? The people who call you self-aggrandizing, they're just being dismissive. My perception is that you're just being honest. And as Kurt Vonnegut so aptly put, you are who you pretend to be. I don't think that your videos are declarations of the way that you function. They're declarations of the way that you think you should. And I have yet to see a video that you've made that I disagree with. Not yet. Anyway, it's bound to happen sooner or later. Actually, this video. This video, I hate myself. That might be something that I take issue with, which is why I'm making you this video. When it comes to the notion of not being who you think that you are, not being as accurately self-portrayed, I don't know if that's a misnomer or not. My suggestion is, first off, humor that notion. Humor. Take it into consideration and think to yourself, how could I be doing this better? That's it. How could you be doing it better? And then think of how many other hairless apes out there could be doing it better than you. And the thing is, you're always going to find somebody. You're always going to think of somebody because there's always somebody out there who does anything better than you. That's just the way it is. There's always somebody else out there that's more capable, that's smarter, that's more reasonable. Given, the context, there's always going to be somebody out there who's better at something than you. But think about how many people out there could do it better than you. And the reason why I've got such problems with the world is because I can tell you this, Varmint, is there's not many. And where I think you and I would both agree is that maybe there should be. But you try. So whether or not you think that you are adequate for the affirmations of the positions that you're putting yourself in, think about those people. The people who do it better, and all those people who don't even bother to do it at all. I would hope that at that point, whether or not that you feel that you're being an imposter, you'll at least come to terms with being an imposter. I don't think I've got anything else to add to that. And I hope that I'm not being too condescending here. I have a tendency to do that. Anyway, be well.